Welcome to the Audiobook Lovin Series, a month-long event celebrating the authors and narrators that bring romance stories to life. Listen along as Viviana, Enchantress of Books, interviews your favorite writers and voices, share special guest posts, and stay tuned for some special information at the conclusion of the episode.
Hi, everyone. Today, I have the pleasure of chatting with narrator Lauren Ezzo. Welcome to the Audiobook Lovin Series, Lauren. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing so well. I am so excited to be here. I was so surprised and touched that you asked me. So yeah, now I'm kind of geared up for a really fun chat.
Yeah, we had a pre-recording little chat about our last name since it's Izzo, and all the fun stuff. We may even have a new series for this podcast or a completely different podcast whatsoever on last names and pronunciation, guys. So just wait until that comes out next time.
Really, really short episodes of just like daily complaints. Like,
yeah,
incredibly specific.
Creative ways that you've seen people write your name.
Sponsored by Starbucks. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Exactly. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been narrating, and how you got started?
Cool. So I've been narrating. That's a great. The first question. I'm already biffing it. Been narrating about 7 or 8 years. I think I started in 2015. So I guess that would be 7 years. And I had just graduated. I have an English and a theater degree, and a friend who worked at a production house was like, they're hiring new narrators. Why don't you come and audition? And so I did. I had no idea about the audiobook industry. I don't think I'd listened to one audiobook, and it was like when I was 8 years old on a road trip. I was not like an audiobook person, but I've always loved to read, and I love any story, any genre. I just want to get to the bottom of why. So long story long, I went in, I read a little bit of Twilight, a little bit of a Rob Bell book, who's like nonfiction, like Christian guy, and then a little bit of a Neil Gaiman short story. And they gave me my first title, and it's just kind of gone from there. So I love what I do. I could not have imagined that it would take me this far. So yeah, go audiobooks, go team audiobooks. I do listen to them now, and not just my own.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think sometimes, especially when you first started, audiobooks were obviously been around for eons. I mean, I still have Pinocchio on vinyl from when I was a child.
That's super cool.
It is, and it still works. I'm like, yes, not only is it, it's a classic, it's vintage.
Right.
And I'm going, wait a minute, how many years is it antique? No, and anyways,
Exactly.
But I think the popularity of it has really truly hit maybe 5 years onward. And especially these past lovely 2 years with pandemic.
Yeah. Oh my word. Completely agree. I had so many people reach out to me, particularly, gosh, it's nuts to say, in 2020, who were like, I'm at home. I've made what were we all making? Not sourdough bread. That was it. I've made the sourdough. Like, I've trained my dog. I've done like one yoga pose. Do you have a book that you can recommend? So that was this is kind of like a job that keeps on giving in a lot of ways. And that was one of them, was that I got to, pump up authors and books that I know and love. And then B, like, nobody was having the dogs maybe were having a good time in the pandemic. Nobody, no matter what your circumstances were, was like, this is great. So like give people, everybody loves to buy books for people, right? And like to have that book be well received, you're like, oh, I've wanted to read this or whatever. That was super cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a love language as far as gifting. If you can get that audiobook lover or that reader the gift.
I like
it's like
love language. Like,
yeah.
Physical touch? No, it's just books. Like
books, yeah.
Touch me with a book. I have not read that one yet. I have not seen that. Somebody get on that.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that if quality time is important to you, then just let me have my time with my book. Ooh. If it's gifting, then give me something to do with a book.
No, that's smart. Quality time. Because and then, okay, what else are they? Quality time. Acts of service.
Yep.
would that be like
do things so I have time to read my book?
There you go. I was like, okay, part 2 of the podcast is we're gonna like rewrite the love languages based around
book lovers everywhere.
Right. Oh my god. I might like draw these up and like leave a list, on
Absolutely.
our bedside.
Yep.
Oh god.
It's one of those things that, like you were saying with our dogs. I mean, I know mines are like, yay, you're home all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly.
Like, why are you at the door? Where are you going? What's going on? So yeah, the community that has sprung up these past couple of years, or surrounding audiobooks specifically, has grown exponentially, and people have become really good friends with listeners, and even now you guys that have come out of the woodworks and are on social media and things like that, we get to kind of get to know you guys better, and also having these kind of chats is always so much fun. So then listeners like, oh my god, we have that in common, or oh, I did not know that she liked that too. Ooh.
I haven't been as active on social media.
That was a hint.
I was gonna say I kind of have been feeling, because it was like early in the pandemic. I lived alone at the time, and it was like, if I go too deep down this internet rabbit hole, it's just not gonna be good. Like, I need to kind of stay in the physical world. And so I was pretty cold turkey. And I took it off my phone. I still have all my accounts and stuff, but I've been feeling it's funny, like as the world opens up a little more, I've been feeling the push, feeling the pull, especially because everybody's on TikTok now. Everybody's funny, and I freaking miss people. Wait, I fucking miss people. I want to see people. I want to reach out. I want, anytime, like authors, listeners, narrators, whoever, like send memes, send tweets, all of it.
Yeah.
Because the people are just too cool.
Yeah. And I think it was even being said, if I send you a link or a TikTok message, because it's a video of a TikTok kind of a thing, because we're in the system together, that means I really, really like you, and watch the TikTok.
Thank you. So I haven't signed up for TikTok, made a TikTok yet. Geez, like, wow, I sound so savvy. But I would say, TikToks are the other love language. Like my cousin, my brother, and you, I don't know, it's a gift. Like, it's a talent to be able to source the TikToks that nobody else has seen, but they're like the funniest ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, TikToks are.
But even with Instagram reels, when it hits something and you're like, oh, they're talking about us, us two girlfriends kind of a thing. I'm like, I send it to my best friend, or they'll remind me something, or they'll have that, and that's what she said joke. And I'm like, boom, there it is.
That thing of like, you see a post or a meme or whatever, and you see it and you're like, oh, that needs to get sent to so-and-so. Like that is their brand of humor or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I have a friend that loves Star Wars, and there was this soap specifically for men, and the soap commercial itself was hilarious because of how they went about marketing this soap, and they had a limited edition Star Wars edition kind of a thing, and it was one of those that I sent it to him, and he's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I found, and then I'm like, oh, really, fucker? Okay. Now it's like, of course, that one time Facebook gives me all these ads for other things about men and their bodily functions. And there was one like ball soap to keep yourself clean. And I'm like, guess what you're getting? Boom.
Right. No, exactly. Okay. Also, I might need you. Is the Star Wars soap, like, how limited edition was it? Because
I think it's still available. I can send that.
Okay,
to
cool.
you.
My friends, this past weekend, I shit you not, they're having like a reception. Their first wedding got COVIDed, but they eloped on May the 4th. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
he's smart. He will never forget that date.
I know, right? She put like a couple of their like teasing wedding. What is it? Teaser wedding pictures up. I narrate. And it was like they were on this like gorgeous like mountaintop glacier thing in Colorado. But then the photographer took these 2 lightsabers and did like, I don't know, this cool like light effect. It looked like they were backlit with the lightsabers. It was
nice.
Anyway, her bachelorette is coming up, and so I'm getting her Star Wars underwear, as you do.
Of course.
Right, maybe I should be getting him Star Wars soap. Maybe I should be getting her Star Wars soap. No,
Yeah, get the little headbands that are like the Princess Leia buns and stuff like that for them to wear.
Oh, that's darling. That's so cute. Like the ones with the cat ears.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They're like Princess Leia kind, that you can just, and then that way it's for pictures at our bachelorette party. There she is.
I'm writing that down.
And also just best for her saying, you remember that really scampy Princess Leia when she was a slave? Yeah, we got that for you to wear for the bachelorette party. Just fuck with her.
Okay, no shit. And I was like, do I want to do this? Like, the things, I know you have this problem because I have this problem because we work in romance. Like, find, like cute underwear for the bachelorette or whatever. And so I'm typing in like Princess Leia slave costume for sale. Like,
oh yeah. My search history. No bueno.
Yeah. And then you've got to think too that like the CIA or the FBI or whoever, they like pull the Google lists and they're like, oh no, see, then they looked up like, I don't know, Dairy Queen flurries that are seasonal. No, it's just like the romance people. Like it's not actual nutcases.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and we've been warned. There are a couple of memes out there as well where it comes down to, like they were talking about something icicles, and they're like, no, don't look it up. Just don't. Just promise. Ooh. Just promise you don't look it up, because it was obviously some form of bodily function fluids and the way that they were using it. I mean, hell, it was even in a song. Something about Nicki Minaj, I think, said it, and it was in an Ariana Grande song about icicle bracelets, and I'm like, okay. Yep. Okay, I got it. Okay, yeah. But even then, I mean, even songs from the 90s and the 80s, especially the 90s and the early 2000s, when we hear some of these things now, we're going, holy hell, they were talking about going down on him. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and it's like, at the time, it's like, you're bopping along, whatever. You're like, if you're me, like 15 years old, just completely, because are you the person too who, like, I don't know, is like dumbly innocent, and then somebody goes like, no, bicycle wrist or whatever, and you're like, like, okay, I'm behind the 8 ball.
I usually get it. But sometimes when they get extra, creative on trying to just by naming it something, like it used to be just, hey, don't you like licking lollipops? And you kind of got what that meant. And then all of a sudden there's like 15 different ways of saying it now. But I mean, I always would love it when my kid would start busting out with my anaconda won't, my anaconda, I'm going, honey, do you know what you're talking about?
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, dear. They're not talking about
one a couple years ago, and it's not a very good song, but it would get stuck in my head because it would play while I would drive, and it was like blow my whistle or like wet my whistle or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
Slow ride our pit bull or something. And it was like this like cheerful little song with whistling. And it was like, so many kids are going to be singing this on the way to pick up or drop off in the morning.
My boys bring all the milkshakes, or my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. And I'm like, oh God.
That is the national anthem though. That one's different because that's like the most perfect song ever.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, but because you could, I mean, if you were, if you had food trucks, like they're so popular nowadays, why not?
Oh, that's cute. So many good ideas. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the second cup of coffee I had, but I'm into all of this.
Yes.
Well done. This whole podcasting, book, marketing, blogging, podcasting doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Food truck.
Got it. Yeah, no, it's funny enough, years ago, so was it 2006 I graduated culinary school? And no lie, they were like asking us, so once you get out of here, like, what are you gonna do? And there was a group of us that said it'd be kind of great if we could do like a restaurant that would like drive around almost like a bus, but like the ice cream trucks, but like a food truck. And that was before it hit the craze. We were just talking about it. And then fast forward, we are on social media saying we should have done it.
Exactly. Oh my God.
But hey, there's always something. We all have creative ideas and outlets. So, here we are.
I mean, I would pay money to get on like one of those like long, like, like what are they called? I don't know. The buses that take you to the airport, like the big ones.
The shuttles. Yeah.
Yeah. Like do that with, I don't know, some cute like diner booths or whatever. We have food truck. We don't have food bus.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. The food bus does not sound super cute, but anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the same thing. Like I've suggested it at Disney. We have the monorails, and for the Christmas we have the different what do they call those? The cookie houses.
The gingerbread.
Thank you. They had gingerbread, like a gingerbread tour, because at the resorts that are right by each other via the monorail. And I'm like, you could just have a romantic dinner and just visit, at one restaurant, you get a cocktails, the next restaurant, you get appetizers, the next restaurant, you have a small meal. And they're like, that sounds like a good idea there, but I don't think it will work. 4 years later, they're busting out with something like that. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I just signed up.
Once again, I would pay a stupid amount of money for that. That sounds so much fun.
Yeah, and then like sooner or later, maybe New York City or anybody that also has subways, might come up with something a little bit fancier. But there's going to be a lot of more cleanup to do first. But hey, who knows?
I would eat on. I'm in Chicago, so I would eat on a restaurant if it was in the L, but I wouldn't eat on the L right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. Like it used to be back in the frontier days and prior to planes, people used to travel via trains. I mean, and we see it every Christmas with the White Christmas movie about the transportation and how you go from one place to another and these classy trains now that's also very popular nowadays as well. I mean, there's not many out there, but there's some. And I'm like, hey, I want to do that.
You ever done that? Like a sleeper car or whatever?
Yeah. I haven't done it. It's on my list of things to do. Yeah.
Same. Okay. There was a Hallmark movie this year that was called I watched it at my boyfriend's parents' house. It was like the Christmas Train or something. I don't know, but the movie was not super great. Like it was great because it was a Hallmark Christmas movie. But it was, I don't know, all these people are on the train and it's traveling. I think it was going to San Francisco from New York, and it was going to take 3 days. It was going to get there on Christmas Day or something, whatever. The train was super cute. It was all lace and holiday decorations and stuff. And then, people got married in the one car, and then in the other car, there was a Christmas mystery, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I would like to put on my cute little traveling suit with my little round suitcase and go on the sleeper train. It probably would be very smelly and uncomfortable.
It's again, I've wanted, and I think also Harry Potter movies like that have always kind of given you the idea of what it could be like. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, hopefully one day I'll be able to do that. But now I'm also kind of thinking it'd be kind of fun to do a 3-day event with narrators.
Oh my God, yes.
And some of the authors that work with these narrators kind of doing a little either a murder mystery or just for fun or just hanging out in different cards for different genres. So many options and possibilities.
Okay. Here's the thing though, because I love the idea of a murder mystery, which, my family did this. You'll like this over Christmas Eve. It was my family, my parents, my brother and I, and then my cousins had come home and their parents got COVID. So they all drove together. They had no place to stay. So they came to our house. So it was my family, my cousins, and my boyfriend, and we had this murder mystery kit in the basement that my mom and I had got on some Black Friday sale on a whim. And so we did Italian murder mystery dinner party. And it was so much fun. It was a blast. Everybody got, pleasantly wine drunk, and we all had costumes and stuff. We did screw up the ending, because it comes with the little CD that you play. That's track 15, the clue. And so we went to the next track and it was congratulations, you have solved the mystery. The killer is okay. And all the names were food puns. So the killer was Beaujolais. Beaujolais, pepperoni, I think was killed. You shouldn't have said that. Because now if anybody has that murder mystery kit, if you have the Italian murder mystery party dinner kit, I guess spoilers behind.
There's so many different ones, and I think because I did one years ago, also it was a mystery dinner party, and the one that we did with our friends was a 1960s. Ours, the ones that I did was I think it was the 1940s or something. And I'm literally looking at it right now. I have wine and murder, which will be the next time to figure out who I'm going to invite. Cool. So yeah.
Here's the thing though, we're all going to be really freaking good at it because all we do is read. Everybody's going to be able to oh no, boom, plot mapping. Like I know who it is.
Yeah. But it'd be kind of cool to have, playing along with an authors and narrators, but then also having some of the narrators do that monologue part of, and now they're entering,
I would love to do some shit like that. Oh,
Yeah.
in a heartbeat. Almost like TV or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's some fun ideas. We'll get there one day.
Yeah. One of these days when we have our giant like author narrator convention.
Again, yes. Mm-hmm.
Right. Trucks parked outside. It'll happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We'll get there once we get back to quote unquote normal. And we don't have to worry about, things like coughing and sneezing in public. Yeah.
These days.
Yeah. But I'm sure that it's part of the whole like wanting to hang out. I mean, I'm an introvert, but I'm a social extrovert when I need to be. And there are certain individuals that I do miss hanging out with. Being a narrator is very lonely, right? I mean, you guys are only working with yourselves in the booth and different voices. I mean,
yeah, it is super weird. And it was not until I was a little deep into 2020, like maybe almost summer or fall of 2020, and I was still doing okay. Again, I lived alone. I worked from home anyway, and I was like, yep, I'm still doing okay. And it was like, oh, I'm handling this a little too well. Like I'm a little too alone. So that was like kind of the social media thing and stuff. So I think we've all felt that to one degree or another, because right, so many of us are introverts or, have our little routines, or even if we're not introverts, we go in our little closets or our booths and shut ourselves up and just talk. So, to be completely candid, that's been a real struggle for me. As soon as I kind of noticed it, it was like, oh dear. And so it's been, I don't know, kind of my little, pandemic resolution. I don't know, like to kind of reach out to people more and find more and find what else there is, because I love my books. It's my favorite thing. I love stories, but you've got to pay attention, I don't know, to the real world and the real people too. So everybody in the community I've reached out to has been just outstanding. Here's my cell. I've had so many Skypes, Zooms, things like that. Kind of daily check-ins with a few other narrators that have been really, really helpful. But yeah, I'm looking forward to like the conventions, the panels, the trips. They will come when they come. I'm not worried about that.
Well, some of them are starting up a little bit more now. There's a couple in the summer. There's actually one in Chicago. I'm wondering if did you, are you in that one?
No, I'm going to a wedding, which is fine. I was all excited. I know. And I have a wedding back home for a friend. So it was like, oh, well, at least it's, I don't know, I'm not getting a root canal or something, but
that is true.
Right. So I guess I'm going to put that one in the back pocket for like the 2023 grand tour, when I just go to every single con available with like, no, I'll take the trip. It'll be great. But that being said, if anybody is in Chicago or stops through Chicago or whatever, hit me up, send me an email, shoot me a text. Let's go get drinks. Like, let's hang out.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we'll figure out when you're leaving for that wedding versus when I'm getting there for that event. It may have be like a day overlap where we're in the same city in town for a hot minute. And see if we can hang out. But yeah, it's a good community. I know even listeners and readers are doing little, self-care Zooms where we connect with each other, or we're like Friday cocktails and things like that. Authors are doing that too in their reader groups in some cases, and then inviting some of the narrators over or other co-authors and things like that. So there's been a lot of trying to reconnect with people, even though it's via social media. So yeah. And I think I'm gonna hop back on soon, or kind of, try to figure out a way to moderate myself, but to get back in. Cause I don't know. It is, when it's at its best, it's a way to bring people together, and we only need more of that. Absolutely. Yeah. Nope. There's a couple of ideas. I mean, I always tell people that are like a little weary about either starting or going back. I'm like, just make it once a week at the beginning and pick a day that's not going to be too hectic for you, kind of a thing. And just time yourself for the hour, where you just give yourself an hour to just scroll, refollow accounts, connect with new people or whatever. And then when you're done, put it away when that alarm goes off. And then you can do it 2 times a day for 30 minutes each day, and then so on and so forth, and you can, nowadays you can schedule things out in advance. So you're spending less physical time at that moment in time, but so yeah, there's different ways to do it.
No, I like that too. And well, that's just another self-care thing.
Yeah, exactly. Cause I mean, some of those memes are pretty funny too. So.
Oh my God. There's one Instagram I follow. Oh, Jesus. It's just called, actually, I don't know if it's still up. I should check. It's called Noodle Worship. And it's just pictures of different like noodles, different pasta dishes around the world.
Oh my goodness.
I know, whatever feeds your soul, right? For me, it's just parts.
Well, it's interesting because there's been a few with authors. So romance is usually written for women by women.
Mm-hmm.
But there also have been a few male authors rather, that have been very successful in capturing romance and how to write the heroine in a way that's not unflattering or are you fucking kidding me? Yes. But there's also some that I'm going, no, honey, no, please don't.
Oh my God, I know. It's like, we all know those books, like you come across like, oh, a man wrote this. Like, oh,
exactly. There's been a couple of authors that are starting to have fun with it on Instagram and TikTok, and they're making up these really weird, like obvious no-nos that they as writing men writing women. And then now it's Rob Brickerman, which I just talked to him earlier today. He did one where it's the same author, but was looking for stock imaging sites because they're doing the book covers or helping the graphic artist find a photo for the book cover. Okay. And when you look up sexy men, you see where I'm going with this? Yeah.
I'm putting this on my list again, just so you know. To look up later when I'm bored.
Oh yeah, I'll send you the link to that one because it was she did like hello, and when it was the guy with the guitar, I am here, and then like and there was one like a pirate drinking wine. He goes, you know why there's no whiskey? It's because I drink wine. As I'm looking at you very provocatively and sexually over the rim,
I can't wait for this. Okay, do not forget to send this to me. This is going to be like my fun thing to say.
So that's the author's take on these things. Rob did it where he did like voiceover over what these guys were thinking. And so there's just so much things. I mean, again, fun times on social media can be fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'll send you that too.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I know that's the other problem with like this industry is you read so much and like so many names and covers and words pass in front of your brain. So it'll be like, what's the book with this and this, and the cover looks like this, and the author's name is, Ashley. Oh no, it's Amanda or whatever. So I know, there's just so much, and you do genuinely love them. I know that I've read good romance written by men, but I can't think of any.
It's a rarity to have men in general write romance. I think it's now become one of those like the unicorn. And more men are going, I can write this, both in a good way and maybe in a attitude. No, like if girls can do it, so can I. Exactly. How hard is it to write romance? And I'm like, well, it depends on what you're trying to write. And so it's a good thing. I think that we have a bit more of variety and different demographics because we all like different things. And that's one of the reasons why I love romance, is because it being an umbrella term with all these subgenres underneath it. And then all the book tropes underneath that. And then like people like realize that they want to travel more because the book that they just finished reading, the heroine goes from the US to France and finds a red door. Or they realize that they want to try some cooking because the book included some recipes, that the hero is the baker, and stuff like that. It can be really fun. And just finding out some of these things, it's a really good, great community. And being able to find out also that you may not have realized you have a kink. So yeah. Right.
The romances that stayed with me the longest, the ones that I love the most are, both those. They're the ones where it'll be like, I don't know what that old like writing truism is, what like the specificity or the difference in the specificity or whatever, where it's something just little, maybe, right? Like she travels, or there was one who was a Marine. The protagonist was a marine biologist. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's really different. And then I went on like a little mini like marine biology tangent for that week or that month or whatever. And so those ones like stay with you. But yeah, then too, when you get something, and then I think this kind of goes back to the point of men writing romance, when you get something that's written very honestly, I think it's got to be honest. It's got to be like with a spirit of fun, even if it's, you know, dark, even if it's dubious consent, it's got to be, there has to be some joy in it, or at least some, you know, kind of getting your money's worth. And it has to be, you know, with a positive, I guess that's the same thing, with a positive affect, or the hope of a positive affect. Those ones that stick with you. There was one I read and it was female, male. Yeah. I always get this like dyslexic in my brain, male, female, female, male. It was a woman and two men. And it was so clear that the author had had this experience. The emotions were so, it was not just for, you know, titillating for titillating's sake, which is great.
Or shock
you know?
value too. Yeah.
Exactly. It was like she felt this, she had these conflicted, scary feelings, and she found happiness. And it was like, oh, you know, that's not happened in my life, but I have had, you know, that kind of, I don't know, hill of, you know, sexual shame and then eventually joy.
It's definitely something that it can be explored in things like that. And that genre with, technically it's called, I think it's a reverse harem, where it's one woman and multiple men. And the differences in the order of the lettering is if swords are crossing or not.
Oh my God. I did not know that.
Yeah. So if it's MFM,
okay,
there are no swords crossing. It's all about her kind of a thing. And there's, you know, nothing in between the guys. But if it becomes an FMM,
okay,
there's going to be some sword crossing. And usually it's almost like a sub relationship with the two guys.
Okay. I like to how I tried to make it MMF. I tried to put the male first again with the patriarchy comes in all these little ways you don't expect. I never knew that. I feel so dumb for not knowing that, but that's the thing.
Remember, it's with like with acronyms, sometimes people don't know what that stands for. There's some people that are like, oh, that's an acronym. I thought that was an actual word. And I'm like, no. And maybe they were just trying to show you that it's two guys and a girl. And so she's in the middle. And then it just, again, it's conversations that we have with our fellow listeners and readers and you guys that were like, oh, that's what that meant. Got it.
And I love too, that when it's like, you know, it's her pleasure that's centered, like
yes,
in the middle.
Yeah.
Obviously that way, but that's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Learned something today, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's in those books. With any book in which a narrator is either sole narrating the whole book, regardless of POV, or it's a dual narration. And so the female narrator is doing all the females POV and a male narrator is doing all the males POV. There's a lot of different characters and voices and tones that kind of go into this that you guys as narrators have to differentiate, because otherwise we're going to get lost.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
So
how do you go about deciding what these characters are going to sound like, as far as, you know, both the girls and the ladies, and, you know, any elf in there or something? I don't know.
I pray for elves. I pray for
everybody does.
Like write more of the weird stuff. What did I voice the other? It was like some like lizard mermaid monster thing, and that was really fun. And like, right, there's not enough of those, and also not enough. Write more Scottish characters. I love doing Scottish accents. This is my directive to all authors. Write more weird monsters and more Scottish people. So
hire Lauren to do them.
Thank you. Yes, please. Yeah, and then follow up to that once they've been written. Hit me up. So for that, I mean, whether it's, you know, duet, dual, solo, what have you, the answer for me, and everybody's got their own process, but is always, you know, it comes down to two things again. You've got the text the author's world the playground they made for you, and then your own experiences out bumbling around in the real world. So I'm trying to think of any recent examples. So, sometimes the clues are as obvious as, he has a low gravelly voice and a Russian accent. It's like, okay, great. Like, check, we're good. But if it's just, you don't get any notes about that sound, then you have to look to, well, what is the character doing? What are their actions saying? How are they interacting with each other, with the world around them? If he's a really hurt, standoffish, brooding person, the case certainly can be made. There are people out there who have been, grossly emotionally wounded, but in an audio format, in a fictional, narrative, is that character best going to be represented by I don't know, Nathan Lane type voice? Probably not. So then it just kind of follows okay, if he's hurting inside, a whole lot of deep, dark, repressed anguish, that's probably going to translate to his voice. And then, I love the series too, where you get family members or generational, and friends and stuff, kind of build the universe. Then it just comes down to minutia. So, he's of a slighter build. She's, the party girl. She's probably got a raspier voice because she goes out a lot more.
I did not think of that.
I always love when that girl shows up. That is not me, and she's my favorite. Is she shy? Is she trying to fight against that, or is she leaning into her shyness? Is her voice smaller? And then when you bring, other narrators, collaborators into that, it's a whole lot of, back and forth and sending little clips. Well, I think this guy from book 1 is gonna, basically sound the same as his brother from book 2, but he's much stockier, so I'm going to make him a little bit deeper, or this, that, or the other thing. That's one of the fun parts, is kind of all that prep work.
He's not as brooding, so his cadence is different.
Exactly. And then cadence, tempo, the way they, if with all of the time in the world, I would love to, or I think we all would love to go through and, well, what speed does he speak at? And maybe does he, does he really enunciate his words instead of, kind of, is he a lazy, is he a closed mouth talker? But yeah, beyond that, logistically, whole lot of sample pulling and labeling. Okay, this is, so-and-so on page whatever. So so people don't end up sounding the same. And sometimes they will, because you only have the one set of vocal cords. But I think I can comfortably speak for a lot of narrators when I say we try, and we have, or at least I do, have really different pictures of the characters in my head. And so if I can kind of picture them doing it, saying it, it becomes a lot easier to attach a sound to them that I can then, kind of cross-reference or cross those wires.
Yeah, and sorry, go ahead.
No, just that's one of the fun parts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you're discovering technically someone new, the character, and getting to assign them different things based on their characters, or even sometimes when the author gives you more information as far as accent, and he sounds like Nathan Lane, for an example.
Small voices.
Yeah, right. And then they're like, "Gotcha, kidding." No,
yeah.
But it's because otherwise, I mean, you have completely free range, which is great. But at the same time, heaven forbid that in book 2, that character comes back and now, I forgot to tell you, he's Irish.
Yeah. Okay. And so when that happens, so here's my other directive to authors. If they're from places and they there was one I had, and it was his mother was Moroccan or something, and his dad was German, but he grew up in Ireland or it was the weirdest trifecta of countries.
Damn.
Right. And it was all right, I don't know what this guy's going to sound like, but we're just going to have him talk here. So anyway, if it's stuff like that, or he's just straight up British or from Texas, or just let us know. Just drop a little, just give a little hint, because then in book 2, you kind of have to backdoor, slide into a little bit of an Irish accent or whatever. That's what I tried. Maybe if I do it subtly enough,
no one will notice.
Right. will either not notice or notice. It will just be, oh, he's always sounded like that. Oh gosh, in a perfect world.
Yeah. Well, I think the authors nowadays that are more aware of, hey, I really do want to make this into an audio, are focusing on making sure things like that are said at the very beginning of a book. As far as like that, maybe that's what caught her eye was his Irish accent, or somewhere they tell you in advance that it doesn't come out, especially to chapter 30. Yeah. But yeah, it's important, I think, to have those little conversations, as well as having the conversation with your co-narrator that you are doing an accent, because that's the other thing too. Sometimes I've had books where the female narrator does the accent, but the male narrator doesn't do the accent. And I'm like, but they're the same character.
Right. What's going on, guys? I'm of two minds about that. Thing number one is like the best laid plans kind of thing. Like every once in a while in the grand scheme of life, and that doesn't make it okay, but like a ball gets dropped. But then I also kind of wonder, well, maybe, if the heroine has, or if the male hero has an accent, or, whoever, person A has an accent, and then you switch, and then person B doesn't in the next chapter. Well, maybe person B isn't hearing it. Like or maybe person A doesn't hear their own accent, but person B does. Or that's like my, wayward justification.
It's a reach, but it's a very good reach, and it's something too, because I've always said that how we sound in our own ear versus when you hear me or someone else hears me, it's completely different. So when there's been books, especially when it comes down to siblings or the best friend group, that now book one is about friend one, friend two is book two, and so on and so forth. They're like, well, they don't sound exactly the same as they did in the previous. I'm like, well, that's because someone else is listening or someone else is talking. And that perspective changes. So that has to be a little bit different, So
that's always been especially with those ones where it's like, oh, now it's her sister or whatever. Like it's a different headspace. Like it technically is a different world because, nobody sees things the same way, but anyway, this is like, we're in like advanced, like the audiobook, like 500 level POV.
An analysis of an audiobook.
Right, exactly. Have it on my desk Monday.
Yeah. You mentioned Scottish being a good accent that you love to do, but is that your favorite accent to perform?
God. My puppy just horked, by the way.
I was going to say that was a good sneeze, puppy.
Oh my God. He's got a cactus toy that he's currently ripping the guts out of, and I think some fluff got in his nose. Anyway, I love Scottish and Irish. Those ones are really fun for me. I love Finnish and Nordic, which I do not get. I get to do those ones even less than the Scots Irish. It was not a romance, but I did a book a few years ago, and like 3 of the main characters were Finns. And so I had to learn that whole deal, and that was super fun. That one I love. Russian. I have a long history with Russian. I managed to convince one of the RAs in college that I was a Russian exchange student. Every time. It was like, that is the best thing I've ever done with my life, honestly. Like that was my magnum opus. I think, no, that's how it happened. Yeah, we had learned it in class. We had a dialect class. And so I just came home and was like dicking around with my, roommates, housemates, like, oh, hi, I'm, And this poor sweet RA came in and was like, hey guys, I wanted to introduce myself, since it's the beginning of the school year. And I just kept going for whatever. I thought he would know.
Hi.
I thought he would know it was fake. And he was like, oh, cool. Like, how long are you here? And it was like, oh shit, now I have to keep this up. Like,
just a few years.
Right. And so it lasted. We just did it for a year, but then it became this like spy network in the dorm that was like, okay, so-and-so's on duty. Like, and I told him my name was Natasha, which like, come on. I was like, Natasha has to be in tonight. So-and-so is the RA. It's like, okay, like, thank you, comrade. That's interesting. Anyway, I like Russian. Oh my God. I like doing accents though. It's like accents, creature stuff, anything weird you can do. I think as actors kind of like, yeah, let's do the weird shit.
Yeah. So what about the opposite, the most hardest, or the one that you're like, oh God, no, please, that you have to perform sometimes?
That's a great question. The British that are like, okay, no, I'm gonna say two. Boston, or really like specific East Coast, because I am not an East Coaster. I'm a Midwestern girl. I can't even do my own accent. So East Coast, I have trouble with. It's doesn't, it's like not where my ear is at home. And then any of the British ones that are like really specific, like I'm getting better, like, Yorkshire as opposed to, the Cotswolds or wherever, like those really, really, really like winnowed down ones. But I had a Yorkshire character last year, I think. So we're making progress on that. As far as the East Coast, I don't know. I'm just going to take a color tour or something and bring a tape recorder. My best friend moved to Maine last year, and she like will send me these like stories. Actually, it's super cool. She works at a library in this little teeny weeny town in Maine, like right on the coast. And she gets all of these characters in her library who are like from Virgin River or wherever. It's just like, Gilmore Girls, like the wackiest people. So I think that's what I'll do. That's going to be my research, is I'm just going to go visit her.
Yeah. Hey, product knowledge.
Exactly.
Expensive trip for business purposes.
Exactly. I had to do it.
Yeah.
Accountant, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Why is this trip to Boston? Because there's a character that's a secondary character, but who knows? It's a series. They'll probably come up again as a main character in book 4.
I'm committed to my craft. Okay.
Yes. The last thing I want is for someone to criticize me on my Boston accent sucking, because I've never been.
Because it's not because I wanted to go to Salem. It's because I am a dedicated artiste. Thank you. Mm-hmm. No further questions. Oh God.
Yeah. No, as someone that tends to pick up accents rather quickly, I always have to remind myself to turn it off when I'm hanging out with people, because if I go to Texas, all the family members, even though they were born and raised in Connecticut, moved to Texas, and now they all speak with a bit of a Southern twang. Or when I go to Savannah, Georgia, there's that. And so I could spend a day or two there and I'm already with that accent. And then you can hear it and you're like, oh, God damn it, stop doing it. Yeah, because I never want to think that people, they're making fun of them or anything like that. But to this day, and it's been about 20 years since I went to Boston, the one word that is stuck with me that I have to kind of like purposely say it in advance.
Oh my God.
The right way is ka. I'm like, I'm going to go to the car. So I'm like, I'm going to the car.
And you just are like, good, it feels weird.
Yeah, because I'm like, because I get the funny looks now here in Florida, in Orlando. I'm like, Viv, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to the car.
Oh my God. Like, oh, while you're out then, like, so fancy.
Yeah.
Oh, this is not, but isn't it so weird, like how that can happen? Or like you go, not even to visit family or whoever, you go to, road trip and you can hear yourself doing it. This is not the same thing, but another one of my good friends grew up in West Michigan, and that's where I went to school. And he says, and I don't know why I'm friends with him, he calls them bagels. Like, oh, I know. A bagel? Yeah, no, he's a bad person.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bagel and cream cheese.
Bagel and cream cheese.
I hate it so much. And I've met other people from West Michigan who do this bagel. Get out, get off the planet.
Bagel, people, bagel.
Yeah. Thank you. Like, it's not a cute word any way you swing it, but right, just do bagel like the rest of us. Like, he does it sometimes just to piss me off, though, I swear.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, fuck off. Anyway, my pet peeve. It's the short A sound.
Yeah. Well, it's when it comes, I mean, you do this for a living, and I don't know if you read your reviews and stuff like that, but there are people that are like, now, especially with the way that the world works, 50 years ago, even 30 or 20 years ago, if the accent wasn't spot on. It was okay, because how many of us have gone to Yorkshire to know exactly what that sounds like, or how many of us have BBC America, right? But nowadays, they will tell you that is not a Texan accent.
And boy, howdy do they, right?
Yes.
That's another one. It's such a fascinating industry too, because like the more popular we get, the more people and books and just kind of methods we add in, the more little like I don't know, God, maybe we should start some kind of college degree. But anyway, like, because we have globalization and we have more, connection and social media and all this stuff, we've lost a lot of accents. People are starting, it's sort of starting to average out, not completely, obviously, but like a lot of like, oh God, I don't know, like real deep, like, see, again, I'm not a New Yorker, but like really, really like vintage, like New York accents, you don't hear so much anymore. But right then at the same time, because we have the ways of kind of fact checking and being there, instantaneously. Oh yeah, your girl from, Mobile will know if that character is from Alabama or not. And the authors in particular, and like respect to them for it, because if I was going to write a book, about my kind of heart and soul, I don't want somebody who doesn't know that place, who doesn't know that sound, voicing it.
And even how locals say certain words versus non-locals.
Yep.
Like for street names and, local stuff. I mean, even here in Orlando, there's some things that you can tell they're a local because of, we don't say the official name. We just say something else instead.
Right. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Of course. But no, I totally know what you're saying. Like, oh, she's not from here. She called it Des Moines or whatever.
Yeah. Or Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville. Okay. I mean, there's a postcard that has like 15 different pronunciations.
You call it Louisville? Is that a thing?
Some people do. Louisville. I'm like, I thought it was Louisville. All right. I literally got the postcard for that reason. And I'm like, where should I be using it?
I just always kind of assumed you swallow your tongue when you say that name. Just like
Louisville. Yeah.
Like cough or something. They won't get mad at you.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. We have a city here called Kissimmee, and people are like, Kissimmee? Kissimmee. Or even though I'm in Orlando, the city or the subsidy is Ocoee, and it's like Occoe. So it's like Ocoee or Ocoee.
Okay, does Google Maps or whoever, does she just like play havoc with that name?
Oh no, it's we have a city called Titusville, and it's the first time I saw it, I'm like, Titusville? What?
Yes, thank you. Yes, no, that is the name. You're correct. That is the name.
So that's like the running joke. I'm like, hey, look, Titusville.
Oh God, I want to go to there.
Whether you have them or not, plan to pass by Titusville.
Everyone's welcome in Titusville. Oh,
yeah. Yes.
Oh my God. So true.
Yeah. So it's important to kind of have that information as much as you can. But even then, there's like, I would always go back to the source, in this case, usually the author, and like, how do you want them to say this? Because Google is giving me 3 different versions.
Yep. And then you've got ones that are like, I don't know, this is more like people names than place names, but there's like a Spanish version and a Greek version and not Greek, but like, right. There's like 3 different ways you can say it with 4 different stresses. So like, please help me. I think authors, as audio becomes more and more, and again, God bless authors. I love to read. I have never, for me, the magic is or what's interesting to me is standing those people up, kind of like you've given me the lines. Now I can fill in the coloring book page. It boggles me how they can even make the coloring book page, how you can make something out of nothing like that. But right, the more audio becomes big and the more kind of authors process and authors themselves are becoming, popular in commodities, you get so many great guides and like character sheets and like, oh, well, I think, this alien species or whatever, doesn't pronounce their K's, which was a note I got once, and that was super confusing. But I did not know how to do that. I winged it. But no, most authors again are really good about that kind of thing. Like it's Caroline, not Carolyn, or whatever, that type of stuff.
I think that there's a production company that does books in Spanish. And I was talking to the owner, as a friend of mine, and I'm like, do you guys get list like information when it comes down to like pronunciations? Or like, do it like a Cuban and eat the R.
Oh, interesting.
Do it like the Puerto Ricans and add an S to everything.
Yeah. Oh my God, what did he say?
She was, she's like, no, but I think I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah. Oh,
because certain nationalities are known for things like that, you know? And so it's like, yeah, I'm like, okay.
You like this. Have you ever seen I think it's BuzzFeed, a video of they blindfold these women and they're like comedians or something. They're hilarious. And then they have men speak to them in different Spanish accents.
Oh yes, I've seen that one.
Oh my God, I love that one. Like Mr. Dominican or whatever. That's so true. You can, there's this one guy, I think he's like Mr. Mexico or something. And he just is talking about like, what do you have for lunch? Like, God bless you, sir. Like,
yeah. But it's also though, I think part of that too is trying to figure out where they were from, but also the stuff that they were saying, they went like they sexified it. And it's one of those that they're literally talking about like food, enchiladas and anything else like rice and beans, which does not sound any sexier when I'm talking it in English. But when it's in Spanish, el arroz, y los porotos, and then you add that tone down and everything. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds hot, literally.
One of them is like, your body is like, is it I don't know, your body was like, all I can think is pupusa. And like, that's not, I'm sorry, no, like that would be my attempt. Like, yeah, body's like a pupusa. Like, okay, just try again, make a different choice.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
As my kindergarten teacher used to say.
Make a different choice.
But just maybe we can make a different choice. That's super interesting though. And like, yeah, more power to them for doing that.
Yeah, it's the being bilingual somehow trips you up to on certain words because you're going, wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're going, pronunciation. Okay, got it. Okay, how we're gonna do this.
Wrong one.
Yeah, wrong one. Or when your brain is saying, oh, you're talking in English and all of a sudden that one word comes up in Spanish and you're going,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I was reading. It was something about that though, like if you're bilingual or trilingual, kind of how that gets like messed up in your brain.
Yep.
Or not messed up, but like all of a sudden your brain will jump tracks and you're just there like kind of stranded in the middle of Spanish trying to remember like, you know, what swimming pool is or whatever.
Yes. And then the same thing when you're speaking in Spanish and then that one word comes out, like for the life of me, it's like the word fence in Spanish is the one that I was like, so everything's in Spanish and then describing the thing and then el fence. And my mother's looking at me like, Viviana, por favor, please.
Elf fence is killing. I want that on a shirt.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
El fence, you're like el sandwich.
It sounds really good though. Like, hey, confidence is key.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh,
so it's always so cute when we hear these books and we know the city or we know the name and how we're pronouncing it and stuff like that. Or also there's been times where I will send the notes, either messenger or even textbook or whatever, even an email. I'm like, dude, that's not how we say it. Love you, bye.
It's so good and it's so hard because like
I know
I don't know if I've heard it as pertains to like, you know, anything I hold near and dear. Like I don't have any like, you know, Houston Houston Street or like
you have bagel.
Bagel isn't even an option. That's just like satanic nonsense. Bagel out with that shit.
Like I'm gonna eat the beagle. I'm like, what?
Oh my God! Like you sound like an ace-hole. Like stop.
Yeah.
God. But no. Whenever you hear it, it is just a little bit of a like, yeah, not quite right.
Yeah, it's you know, we all have our thing. We all have our pet peeves. We all have our things. I mean, there's been two instances that I can recall, like the back of my hand, where the review would say they sound nothing like, and then one was Irish and one was British. And the Irish one, he's actually from Ireland, and the British one is actually from London. And it was a basic London accent, and like they sound nothing. I'm like, dude, if you only knew, you did not Google these narrators, did you? So it happens, all the damn time.
Right. And that's like, there's 8 billion people on the planet. Like, I've read bad reviews of Jane Entwistle and like who does Outlander? Oh my god.
Deborah.
Diana.
I forget, I can butcher her last name, but yes.
Yeah, but like, you're never gonna make everybody happy.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
Usually make like, because some people are assholes, so usually the ones who aren't assholes,
Mm-hmm.
they will be happy. But yeah, I don't know. We're all just trying our best out here. We're trying to write good books. We're trying to read good books. The puppy is trying to get his squeaker out of his toy. We're all trying. Oh, it's not going to squeak anymore if you do that, bud.
But I don't know what it is with dogs. That's the objective. The assignment is remove the squeaker from the stuffed animal.
You understood the assignment, but
yes,
did you have to complete?
Absolutely. Even though it was more expensive because it said unbreakable, and that no dog, including like a husky or a German shepherd, and I'm giving it to my chihuahua, could break this toy. And he's looking at me like, yeah, I did.
Shit. Complete horse shit.
Absolutely.
He's a puppy, he's teething, and so I gave him like the right indestructible, Teflon toy or whatever.
Yeah, he probably said, hold my beer.
No, completely. I shit you not. 5 minutes later, I came back. The poor thing was missing an eye. And like, he's sitting there like, look what I did. I wrecked him. Like, great. Good.
Yeah. Mine, the youngest one is a Chihuahua mixed with something. And he loves to have those toys that you put in a bigger toy. It's almost like a digging kind of a thing that they have to find it and excavate it out. And so it usually comes with 4 or 5 different other stuffed animals. So the outside may look like a popcorn holder, and then on the insides there's like 2 holes and there's a bunch of little popcorns in it. Same thing with like a milk jug. There were cookies, all that fun stuff. And we go through those, shit you not, monthly, because he devours them, kills them off. I mean, there was one with unicorns and he ate I'm like, why are you eating the horn? Don't. Now it's just a horse.
Well, and I don't know if like your dogs do this, but do your dogs somehow know to go for like the most inappropriate part, or like, right, the part that doesn't make it what it is anymore?
Yeah. They've done that.
Right. He ate all the leaves, like the, I don't know, arms or whatever off the cactus toys. So now it just kind of looks like a green kind of bang in a pot.
Yep.
That he ate the butt off of his he has this big stuffed doggy that was like his baby toy, and we call it Big Buddy. And so now Big Buddy doesn't have a tail, and Gino just sits there and chews on his butt. Like, right, it's like, I'm glad you're happy, like explore your whatever, but you've ruined Big Buddy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're hilarious. And then after the toys themselves don't no longer have the squeaky, then he'll also start at the outside part, and to the point where it just becomes a rag.
Yeah, it's like this weird like sock puppet thing.
Yeah, exactly. And we're like, time to get a new toy.
That's all this is about. Maybe it's just a ploy to like, I want new toys.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where, it's like hold my beer is part of it. It's the how much can I do this to annoy my parents and get in trouble, and see if I can actually swallow the squeaky. So when I go, ha ha, instead of barking, or when you fart, you go, ha.
Honestly, I'm going to encourage it at that point. Like, that would make my day.
Oh God. If it was safe for them to do it, yes. But I'm like, no, probably not, because then coming out, it's going to be a little harder. They may have to do surgery and stuff like that.
Right. And that's like when you look at them and they just do the swallow, and like something just went down that should not have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All the stories I've seen out there is the dogs have eaten the iPods, the AirPods and stuff like that. And so they're like, where's the other one? And then they put it on loud, and then they hear the dog and this jamming,
gosh.
you know, like, oh, you ate it, asshole. Okay, got it.
Not great, but also I do have a level of respect for that. Like, shit, you committed. You really did eat the damn iPod.
Yeah. I'm like, you saw it, you checked it out, because I know how they do it. They look at it, they look at it again. And then they kind of paw at it to make sure that it's a dead thing and not a live one. And then they start nibbling on it just to see. And they're like, fuck it, I'm just going to have it all. Like,
yep. Exactly. Oh, here we go. Yep.
Yeah. No, it's quite all right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But it's also funny, those videos sometimes where you see the dogs doing stuff and then there's a voiceover and someone having these way too much fun with the audio potential of what they could be saying or doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are some of the things that I'm like, oh yeah. And when you guys start doing some of that stuff, it's always fun as well.
I always love to ask people, like, if your pets could talk, like, what do their voices sound like?
Oh yeah, I do. Do you?
Like, yeah, well, I haven't landed on his yet because it's like such a personal. All of my other friends' pets have voices. Like, I'm very comfortable, you know, finding like inserting my nose where it doesn't belong, but I haven't landed on Gino's yet.
What was he named after?
Oh, that's a great question. So if you, I have a blog on my website, by the way, and this story is there too. So I struggled for the longest time about what to name him because it's a big thing, and, you know, words and names are important to me. And originally I was going to call him Dennis, because I think it's funny when dogs have people names, and like Dennis, right? It's the like most like accountancy name. And then also my boyfriend's uncle is named Dennis, so it would have pissed him off. So that was great too. And then he, you know, I'm Italian, so I think my boyfriend said, "What about Gino?" And I started hysterically laughing because, and this is real, and I hope I don't get sued. There is a real estate agent in my hometown, and it's a small town. My dad went to high school with the guy, and his name, his honest to God name, is Gino Baldino. And my mom, like, whenever we would drive by his sign, you know, and it was up in a lot or whatever, she'd go, "Oh, Gino Baldino," and like say it. I can hear her doing it in my brain. So he said, "What about Gino?" And my brain went, Gino Baldino. And so that is the dog's name, Gino Baldino. He's named after a real estate agent with the most ridiculous name I've ever heard.
So does he have like that bit of that Italian accent, maybe from?
Oh, yeah. You know, I actually hadn't considered that. He looks like a Gino for sure. Like that very like luxurious black hair and the mustache.
Yeah, because you can go you can do the more like mobster, like, Gino, where you been? You know, where you going?
Oh, I think I like that. Because the other thing is he's going to be a small dog anyway. He's a Havanese. So he's going to be like absolutely not a tough boy gangster, which means that is what his voice like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Baldino.
Yeah, exactly.
I pulled the squeaker out of my toy's butt. Like,
yeah. Oh, don't make me do this to you.
Oh, I love this. This is going to be fun. Bud. Hey, Bud. What is your voice? Yeah. My favorite one ever, my friend had this little bunny rabbit. He was a little black and white bunny, and his name was Phil. And I was like, if Phil could talk, what would he sound like? And like out of like nowhere, she had this ready, and in her brain, she goes, "Mommy." Like Phil sounded like a demon. And he was so tiny. It was.
I'm still cute, but I'm not.
It was perfect. I had so much respect for that.
Yeah, but it's true. A lot of pet owners do that. I had it was a Chihuahua Corgi mix, and his name was Bailey, but he was very regal. And so for me, he always sounded more like had that bit of that formal British accent, and everything was like "mommy, darling," you know. Yeah, and stuff like that. Even how he would sit up, it was very much like shoulders back, you know, back straight, posture. You know, chin, posture. Yeah, exactly. And even when he would lay down, he would have the feet in the front crossed over. Very elegant.
Yes.
Yeah. Mocha was a bit wild, so I always kind of thought about one of those Atlanta, Georgia debutantes, but was also the one that was running around barefoot in the backyard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that. And then Nico, I got his name from a book that was Laura Adrian. It was the Midnight Hunters, and they're vampires. But this one was he was Russian, and he likes to make things go boom. And that was his role. He was all the explosive guy, and because pit bulls and pit mixes have such a bad rap, that they're always this hostile thing. But even the character was very nice, lovey-dovey and stuff like that. So I'm like, Nico, you make things go boom.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah. And then I have Raven, who is like quote the Raven for Nevermore.
Good. Yep. Absolutely not. Put up with your bullshit.
And then the last one was Atticus. That one took me like 3 weeks to name him.
Oh, what kind of dog is he?
It's Chihuahua something.
Oh, I love Chihuahua mixes.
Yeah, he's a really cutie patootie.
You can mix them with anything and it comes out.
Yeah. And he's the one that when he starts to cough because he drinks water too much fast, he sounds like a goose.
I dog sat for my neighbor this weekend, and he's a Bichon with anxiety, and he's oh lordy, he's such a special boy. I've never seen one that looks like him. He's got this big round head that looks like a perfect sphere, and he's just so nerd, like he follows you everywhere. And if he hears like even the tiniest little freaking noise, he has this old man like bark. It's so cute.
Yeah.
Gino does not talk much yet, but he's going to be talking a lot more now that he has a voice. I can't wait to annoy everyone with this.
Yes. Yeah. Mine are usually quiet unless they hear a noise or they think they hear a noise or there's a doorbell that goes off on the TV screen instead of mine. But yes. Yeah, we're working on training for stuff like that.
That's our goal. That's what we're working towards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fun times. But I mean, they all have their different personalities, and so that's where the voices come into play.
Oh my god! And then you make them talk to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Especially if the dogs have those eyebrows where you can tell their eyebrows and they're moving up and flat. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it becomes even additional like add-on plus. But it's the same thing with the characters, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right. They just become like secondary players or like your own personal sitcom.
Absolutely.
Like when they have light colored dogs and they like draw their eyebrows on with like mascara or whatever. Yeah. Gino is all black. So I have to find, I don't know, like
some a white. Yeah.
Yeah. Like some kind of, I don't know, grease paint or something.
Yeah. Poor dog. Oh, if you see that on Instagram, be like, Lauren, stop messing with your dog.
I already got yelled at him yesterday because I put my bra on his head. It's fine. He lives a very happy life. He is not tortured at all. Bring
your dogs to Tittiesville with their bras on.
Oh, I forgot about Tittiesville. I want to go there.
Yeah, come visit me. We'll go to Tittiesville.
Tittiesville. It's always what? 12 o'clock? So I don't know what time.
Yeah, where things are always perky and fun.
Ooh, good. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, the township of Tittiesville.
Yeah.
Hi.
You are so much fun and funny. Is there a particular character that you like to play in as far as the heroine or the characters in general? Because you've done so many different genres.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a great question. I like the best friend. I like, the woman who's like savvy, smart, sees through the bullshit. But I like the kind of like coming of age, like realizing what love is type things, the ones that are maybe a little bit more naive, because the journey is, I don't know. I like that arc. There's like such a distinct change from beginning to middle to end. That's fun for me to play. Mm-hmm. And then the
yeah, but I also think you made like the snarky, sarcastic one too.
Yes. Well, it's fun too to have that juxtaposition of like the really like innocent girl and her friend who, not always, but a lot of the times it's like, right, get your shit together, Carol. Like, wake the fuck up. I don't know. She's
like, you don't say, really.
She's a good person to have, even when she's, just in the book. Like, hello, we all see it with you. But for the interior journey, I think I like, kind of, holds people at arm's length or like is a little more shy or reserved or whatever. Because I don't know, playing it from a place of vulnerability is interesting.
Yeah, because there's also so many different other stuff going on in their heads and in their inner circles and stuff like that, and how they have to overcome it. Yeah, it's fun. That's definitely a good character to read as well for me. Is there a genre that you have yet to narrate that you want to?
Oh my God. Yes.
Which one is it?
Okay, so within romance?
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, I know sometimes people get stuck in the romance genre and then that's all they do, but it's a free world. So you can give me whatever you want.
Oh God. Okay. I'm gonna have everything I want then. I'm gonna do this 2 ways. So within romance, I would like to try more long form, like full length, breadth, depth, width, romance.
That's what she said.
Like full saga type stuff where you can really, really meet the people. I also have had on my list, I would love to do an Amish romance just because, I don't know, I think they're so funny and fun, like, plain love or whatever. They just
fade to black.
Right, exactly. They just tickle me. Like, they're funny. Outside of romance, I love doing like lit fic and women's lit, like really kind of, I don't know, wordy, a lot of like metaphor and symbolism and kind of dense stuff, because there's so much, it's like a puzzle. There's so much to untangle there. But I mean, I feel like this is true for everybody. I will read anything if it sits still long enough. You just have to find the right connection, like with the right writing style or the right book or whatever. I'll do more sci-fi. I'll do more non-fic if it's interesting and it speaks to me. But I think I would be happy with more romance, honestly, in my life, because that's the other thing is romance. I don't know. I understand this a little more as I get older and as we've had 2 years of just really sad and awful bullshit. It just makes you feel good. It's rare that you are, maybe, I don't know, upset when you're reading romance or thinking about romance or whatever. The stakes, it's got everything you want. The stakes are high. The characters have real choices. The whole story arc is there. So I like doing it, but yeah, too, I don't know. I just love literature. I love words, books. Long answer again.
Yeah. No, but it's I think that's another reason why people really do love the romance genre, is because, again, it goes back to it being an umbrella term, and then you have this facet of options underneath it. And if you want your contemporary and you want more real life stuff, there you go. If you want more sci-fi, there is, the fantasy of romance and even sci-fi romance. And then if you want the vampires, werewolf shifters, oh my, they have those too. Do you want some dubious consents? There you go. And then there's BDSM and kink and all this other fun stuff. Multiples, yes, please, in various ways.
Historical. I don't know if I've done historical. Oh, lock me in for that. That's where we're going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the historical ones. And there again, it goes back to technically 1980 now is considered historical, but
what?
I know. I know. When I heard that, I went, what? No.
I don't like that at all. Who came up with that bullshit?
Yeah. Well, it's just the whole thing when they came up with the genre like of new adults. I'm wait, I thought it was just adults. What are we gonna do? Vintage and antique adults next for God's sake?
Antique adult. Oh my God.
Well, you have new adult, and then what about the ones that come right afterwards? Like, are we like then vintage, and then we have the antiques over there?
Like a barrel aged adult, like
like fine wine age.
Oh my God. Oh God. Oh, I can't wait for those to come out.
I know. Every couple of years, a new genre gets invented, and then they bust it out with new adult. And I'm like, explain. Yeah, that's when they're like, well, that's because they're like early on adults. They're still like 19, 25. I'm like, dude, I was like 19 in a full-fledged adult full-time job out of high school. Come on.
It's like, I get what the attempt is, but I think it falls under that camp of let people like what they like. Let people read what they read.
Yeah, and also the need of labeling everything too. I'm like, and we don't need to just characters are in that young 20s. I'm like,
right. It doesn't need a box. Just have it.
Yeah. Especially when they're like, oh, they're an intern. I'm like, last I checked in my internships, nobody looked that good. Nobody was that rich.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Yeah, no, okay. That is what I would like to read. Like a very like bare bones new adult, like, I work 2 jobs. Like I have an internship. It does not pay me.
My car is a piece of shit.
I drive for Uber.
Yeah. God. And at night, I'm a Dash delivery. And that's how I meet the hero.
Oh my God. And it would be called Post Soulmates. Oh my God. I would say there was nothing really cute that could be done with Grubhub.
I know.
Sponsored by.
Yeah, exactly. DoorDash, not only delivering the yummies, but also the goodies.
Ooh, hello. Oh God. Say, I would use it a lot more if that were the case.
Right.
Shoot. My God.
Oh goodness.
Oh, die.
Oh, this is too much fun.
I had a really good time, if you couldn't tell.
Good. So am I. I know that you've been working nonstop you have close to 300 books at this point, according to Audible, which I'm sure it's more that have yet to be published. When you're not working, what do you do for fun?
Oh, mostly lay around and watch TV. I love to be outside. I like to hike and camp and all those kinds of things. I have my little dog. We like to do stuff together. I love museums, art, theater, stuff like that, nerdy type things. I have decided to try powerlifting. Do not follow me on my journey. Do not check in with me, because I have decided to try it and made no steps other than that. But like, my bones are old and I've sat too much during this pandemic. So like, that's what we're going to try to put into practice here. Cause powerlifting, like strong women, let's go.
Yeah. I will send you the link to my trainer that I use that is all about just movement, and it's okay to eat that pizza slice or 2 or a bagel.
Let's go.
Yeah, as long as you're moving, and it's okay to have an off day. You don't need to work out 7 days a week. You don't need to work out 5 days a week either. So she's really awesome. And
hey, this person sounds like reasonable, sensible.
Well, it's all about do what you can with what you have. And if your goal is to improve yourself, the moment that you no longer hurt a wrist because you're doing a plank, or you can hold the plank for 2 seconds versus the one that you did last week, that's awesome.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's all about that positivity. And what I love about her is that she also shows you the moderations, or modifications. So for an example, if she's doing jumping jacks, I do not do jumping jacks. Sorry, nope.
I'm not doing that. Yeah,
I'm not. No, the babies and the ladies, no, thank you. It's just not something that's fun for me. But she has shown different ways of doing the exact same concepts, and you're getting the exact same workout as the one that's doing the jumping jacks, but you're doing it the way that you want to do it. And the same thing with squats and stuff like that. So depending on where your activity level is.
Great. Well, and I'm sure too, like my knee is depending on, what it feels like doing that day. Like I have a bum knee. So yeah, some of the squats and shit are not going to be.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I'm not doing push-ups. No, absolutely not. But she'll give you stuff like a plank instead to hold, or up against the door in the wall. Totally can do that. You know, and I'm like, oh, I'm killing it after I'm going, this is getting harder, but I'm doing it. But I'm doing it up against the wall versus on the floor, whatever works. I'm still working out the exact same muscles.
As long as it's like forward momentum that you can be proud of.
Exactly. And that's what I love about her. She is all about positivity and having our self-care, but knowing that if you're having an off day, it's okay not to do class. And so you don't have to do it also working out for an hour. A 30-minute, 3 times a week is fine.
Thank you. God. That's really cool.
Yeah. So I'll send you that stuff so you can check her out. She's super cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really fun. But again, we all have, but the powerlifting, that I do want to see if you end up doing it, even if you just look at the whatever it is that you're powerlifting, and just to get that reaction,
I will I don't know, I'll keep you abreast of my progress, such as it is. We'll see. But I don't know. Yeah, I was it's something that's a little bit more of a challenge. It's something that you can never quite do perfectly, or rather you're always trying to improve, which interests me. So yeah, I would say watch this space for updates. Check back in.
Yeah.
With me.
We'll let you know about our train trips and our trip to Tittiesville and then her powerlifting stuff.
Train to Tittiesville. What a beautiful memory.
Going on a business train, going to Tittiesville.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Here's a good one. What's your favorite holiday and why?
Christmas doesn't count because everybody likes Christmas, or for the most part, Christmas is its own thing. Halloween. Love the spooky. I love all the, basic fall shit. I look good in sweaters. I love, weird costumes, fun costumes. There's a dog costume parade in my neighborhood. I don't know, just all parts and parcel of the month of September, October. Close runner-up, probably 4th of July for the same reasons. I like hamburgers, I like boating, I like, fireworks. Everybody likes, drinking beers in beach chairs with their friends.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the doggy can have a nice, stars and stripes kind of a thing.
I am so right, exactly. And any excuse, I guess my favorite holiday is one that comes with a matching outfit for my dog. Is my favorite holiday.
He's listening to us saying, "What the fuck? Really?
I'm leaving and I'm never coming back. Goodbye." Yeah. Toodaloo. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Fanfangule, what you do? No.
Oh my God, yes. Oh, he absolutely swears in Italian.
Yeah.
Forget about it. Seriously, I don't want to wear that.
Yeah. You're stupid.
God. So true.
What do you mean? No, don't be stupid.
I don't want to put the taco on.
Yeah.
You look really fucking cute. Put the taco on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're afraid of the sound of Velcro. This is not about you.
Yeah. You're going to wear the Headless Horseman, outfit for Halloween this year.
Right. When I make that for this Halloween, you will be the first person getting a photo.
Perfect. Thank you.
It's the least I can do.
Yes, of course. Yes. And the dog's probably giving me the stink eye too in the photo, fuck you.
Little, tiny, adorable middle finger. Yes.
Yeah. The little paw there. Poof. This is what I think of you.
100%.
Yeah. Now I can totally see you busting out a move and singing at the top of your lungs at a grocery aisle when your favorite song comes up.
Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah. So what is that song though?
Oh, damn. That's a good one. What is my karaoke song type thing?
Well, sometimes it's not even a karaoke. No matter where you're at, whether, not so much like Barnes and Nobles or anything, but at the stores or Target, or even in your, if you're on the bus or in the L or whatever, and that song comes up and you're like, yeah, it's my jam. And, my milkshake tastes, no, I'm just kidding.
For sure. That one, I do love any trash pop, JoJo, Britney, any of that is good time. But maybe if I hear it and I automatically start singing without thinking about it, Whitney, How Will I Know? I Want to Dance with Somebody. I Will Always Love You. I actually really love to do I Will Always Love You because nobody does it well.
Yeah.
She's the only one who can do it well. So it just, and it just, so that's always fun to do.
Yeah.
Again, annoy the people around you.
Yeah. Just have your dog bark that part. And
now he is looking at me like, what the fuck?
No.
Whitney's always a good time.
Yeah.
She's a queen.
Yeah. Is that also your karaoke song, or do you have a different karaoke song?
I have never done karaoke.
Really?
Oh my God,
neither,
thank
but
you.
I've been
I was the only one.
No, me neither. I mean, I've seen it in the movies and I know what songs I would pick and stuff like that. But it's never been a thing where I was growing up and it was, and now obviously pandemic, but it's like, no, I need to get together. Like next time there's a book con and you're going to be there, I'm going to find the fucking karaoke bar.
Well, let's do it. Right. Because
we're going to take a group of people. We're going karaoke. Let's go.
Right. Let's just fucking find one. Right. Because there's never been an opportunity like to do it. Okay. So what would your song or songs be?
Oh, I like the fun 60s stuff, sometimes. Yeah. But stop, especially now that TikTok is booming with some of these that are like, oh, these are great songs. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Those are like the ones that I grew up listening to from the 60s because my mother knew their songs and we were in the classic 80s station,
No, that's real, because those are not like you can do those and sound reasonable when you sing them.
Yes.
Like that's not, see, my bag is always like, no, I'm going to go full on, my heart will go on. And you all have to listen while I turn this into like a 5-minute, private concert or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we'll do Bohemian Rhapsody with a bunch of us together though. So.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Queen, any queen. Maybe not any queen, but
not that queen, darling. The other queen.
Some queen. Okay. Yeah. I'm into it.
Yeah. Is that, narrators and authors and readers are at this bar.
Someone help.
Yeah.
Call somebody.
The police were called thinking that someone needed to be rescued.
Right. It was the narrators.
The narrators singing the Whitney song.
All right, everyone. This is Whitney's Greatest Hits, Volume 1. Strap in. Like, all night long. That's not Whitney.
No, that's
what am I doing?
Wrong. Yeah, no.
I'm really good at it, by the way.
Yeah.
God.
Well, at least we know what we're doing next time we go on vacations and stuff like that, and we get together with listeners and readers.
Oh yeah. Anybody who listens to this and wants to come to karaoke with us, drop your song in the comments.
Yeah.
Because that way we won't take each other's songs.
Well, the other reason too, I've been asking about that favorite song that you have to sing to is because I'm expecting it that when we're hanging out at a convention, I will pop that sucker out on my phone. Shit. And I'm expecting it for you to just start bust a move.
Oh, it'll happen. Fuck. God damn it. Okay. You because like when I hear like, how will I know? Like, in the grocery store or whatever, I just start kind of going, like usually the chorus.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get there. And everybody will be like, oh, there Viv goes again. Who? Whitney. Oh, okay. So that's either Lauren or someone else. Because I think
you're just gonna have like a playlist called like Achilles Heels or something.
Yeah, but I will make an entire game of it for the event where I'm like, once you hear the song, if you listen to the podcast, you will now know who that narrator is. Fill in the blanks.
Damn, no, it's gonna be like narrator bingo or something.
Yes.
I want to do this. God, this is just gonna be like, it will be a con, but it's just gonna be like a really harebrained like sleepover.
Yeah.
I'm really into this whole idea.
Well, I mean, we've seen those. I mean, you've been to signings before, right? And conventions or no?
I've been to, Book Expo.
Mm-hmm.
It was in New York.
Yeah, but that's Book Expo.
Yeah, none of the smaller ones.
Yeah. So at the book cons, especially the ones that are for romance, which I've gone to, a couple of the authors will get together and do some giveaways, and then they're based off of bingo questions and stuff like that, or fill in the blank. If there's an event, sometimes like the 1001 Dark Nights will have the little cocktail tables at one of the rooms, and that's their events. And you have to like ask the question of like of a character, and then the author gives you the answer, and then you're filling in the blanks, and whoever gets it first and gets them all right gets the grand prize and things like that. So yeah, so why not have when you hear the song, who's the narrator singing it? How will I know if he really loves you?
Like following the narrators around, like, are they okay? Yeah, she started singing. Like, we can drop her now. Like,
yeah,
come on, find a new one.
Yeah.
Gosh. That's so cool. Okay.
Visit me at a lore.
I'm gonna freaking see you there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool. I'm into it.
Yeah, I'll send you a list of the upcoming events.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So before we go, because I've kept you for way too long, why don't you tell us what you're currently working on and what's coming up next for you that you can share?
Thank you. Okay, I don't know if I can share this. I will tell you that I'm working on a mafia romance series. It's the Russian Bratva and the Italian. I don't think the Italian mafia has a name. They don't.
It's just the Italian mafia.
Yeah, they're just the mob. So I'm working on that right now. I actually can't speak to it. The title's embargoed. I'm gonna play it safe and say that it is. I've got that going on, and then I also have a fun title coming up called The Bartender's Cure, which is kind of like if you read Sweet Bitter or saw that TV series. It's like she's a young 20-something with an English degree. She picks up a job as a bartender, and it's all this like bartending lore mixed with romance and her personal life. And there's like a lot of like cocktail recipes and trivia and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that one. I've been prepping it a little, haven't started recording yet, but what I am recording right now is Russian, which is I like to do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we know that you like to do the Russian.
I like to lie in Russian accent, make fun of poor college boy.
Yeah.
Sorry to that man. Was worth it, to be honest.
Yes. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's a good week over here.
Mm-hmm. Good.
In Tittiesville.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Anything else that you can share? You're good there.
Oh God. Oh gee.
It's okay. And like I said, most of the stuff you guys can share anyways, but it's always good to know there's going to be a mobster, there's going to be a Russian dude. And yeah.
There's a monster Russian dude. There's oh frick. What is her name? See, this is what happens. There's a really cute little, very short, kind of like one-shotty small town romance, a little bit dirty. And I don't remember the author's name off the top of my head, but that one was really cute. I liked that one a lot. And yeah, most of the other stuff is kind of like the kibosh on right now. But that being said, if I don't know, anybody wants to reach out or like wants to hear my Irish or Scottish, I love listeners, I love narrators, I love authors, I love books. So like reach out, let's have some fun.
Yeah, definitely. No, you are definitely on my list of when I get the questions from the authors of like, so listen, I'm looking for an accent or a word in that, female narrator that can do this and that. I'm like, that's Lauren.
Thank
Lauren.
you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it's one of my favorite things, like making author connections. Because again, I can't do that to create something like that. That's not my skill. So I think it's so cool. And then they're usually just like the nicest people to boot. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's a good way to network and things like that. And also just to nice people all around. So you're good.
Right. And then we can take them all to karaoke.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So usually I asked this question before, but I got ahead of myself, but I do want to know, what is your favorite word? Not your curse word, because that's different. That's the second part of this.
That's a fantastic question. Oh my God. Charcuterie.
Oh, nice.
It has the word cute in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got too many syllables. And it's charcuterie. Like you can say it sexy, you can say it like charcuterie. Like you can say it charcuterie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. And then what is your favorite curse word?
Oh shit.
Because I've heard a plethora right now. So I'm going, I don't know what's her favorite.
Usually, like, I mean, fuck is like Christmas. Like fuck is in a different category.
Yeah.
For me, it's probably shit. The mileage of the sounds in that word, you can make it like 5 syllables. You can make it one little, you can do it under your breath. sometimes it's a, shit, like, oh my God. I think shit and charcuterie.
Yeah. Shit and charcuterie. Yes.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it in this world. Yeah. That's such a good question.
Thanks. I come with those often.
So good.
Yeah, no, I always find it fascinating because there's so many words out there, and then there's so many different reasons why a word can be your favorite. And so that's also part of it that I love having to kind of get to know you guys better that way. Yeah. And there's been such a variety of words when it comes down to you guys, and even the authors too that are writing the words. And
it's one of the more unexpected ones. Like, has anybody ever picked, like, I don't know, like guano or something?
No. I think horseshit was one of the ones that was a little bit more, or some that were in the native tongue of a grandmother that was like Portuguese, or, they're from Poland and things like that. So one of those more of a cultural language stuff that's a favorite curse word. And they didn't realize that that's what they were saying until they got older. That was always that's a fun story too, on top of that. But I had one, but I had one narrator that's like, oh, I don't know if I have a favorite word. I'm going, you could always just say your wife's name.
Oh, yeah, Doi.
Yeah, and then he's like, yeah, my favorite word is my wife's name.
You know what? We'll work on the presentation later. The salesmanship, you got it out there. On the record.
Yeah, like, I'm the enabler, and I'm the girl that's going to always help you out. So we're good.
Good one.
Yeah,
that's like a no fail.
Yes, exactly. Don't have a significant other, name your pet. Or a sibling or something that you just love, messing with or whatever. So there's lots of options.
Currency with.
My favorite word, money. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Lauren, so much for being part of this year's Audiobook Lovin Series.
Thank you. This has been wonderful. This is probably going to be a highlight of my week.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a great way to kind of close Monday day, working hours kind of a day.
Yeah, no, completely. 100%.
Yes. Yep. And everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us and putting up with our antics in Tittiesville. And we hope you've enjoyed this interview, this chat, as well as the entire series. Please make sure to follow her on social media, because she's going to get better at it. And we definitely want to know about this whole powerlifting thing and, costumes for the dog. If you're not following her yet, I will give you all the links, so there's no hunting that needs to be done. And you will find those over at the Viviana Enchantress of Books. And until next time, happy listenings.
Thank you for joining us in the Audiobook Lovin Series, hosted by Viviana, Enchantress of Books. We hope you have enjoyed this episode, as well as the series. We've included audio samples of our guests' work within the post for you to check out. Please make sure to visit the main page, link within the post, to learn more about the series, the authors, and the narrators. Please consider leaving a review wherever you listen to the series if you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to follow us on our social media platforms and subscribe to the Viviana Enchantress of Books newsletter. Until next time, happy listening. Audiobook Lovin hopes you've enjoyed this program.